Hey guys, it's Mitch. How's it going? We're back for another page of Blood Force. This is issue 4 page. Um, it's described in my notes as page 10, but time is a construct that is kind of fluid, particularly in the Blood Force pages. This could be as far along as like 15, or maybe earlier. Who knows? But it's some kind of page. And if you enjoy the channel, if you feel like you might want to help out a little bit, feel free to check out my Patreon. Links are in the description, gives you early access to everything I do, helps out the channel, helps to buy new comics. So we're going to kick this off, right? This is a big old Clerg page. This is, I believe, the first of these that I'm doing in this issue. They have shown up, a little bit here and there, but not the actual dragon face Clerg, the officer class, I suppose. I'm not sure if we're ever going to find out what the soldiers look like under the masks. Whether it's this or whether it's something else, it doesn't seem like this would fit under those masks, unless the masks are much... Maybe the soldiers have much larger or smaller heads than the officers do. I mean, that would make sense, right? Because officers, they'll have bigger brains. Certainly. That's how it works in the army. So yeah, this is just kind of an opportunity to draw a whole bunch of monster heads. And yeah, trying to get a whole bunch of black on the page, because that's still a focus. This is a shot of the inside of the Clerg command, like the bridge. And yeah, so this is the beginning of the Clerg second in command telling the Clerg captain that we have a problem. That human we captured is, he has escaped, and he's kind of wreaking havoc on our ship. And this is a pretty good fucking head here that I'm doing at the moment. The captain here is definitely the most fun to draw. He's the most exaggerated. He's got the most horns and everything. I feel like I've got his geometry down the best. It still gets a little bit wobbly every now and again. But for the most part, I think it ends up looking not too bad. And some of these actually look quite good. Like this one. And there's a few later on too. And we're going to get him underlit in here. Half because, I mean, that does make some sense with the way things go, but it's also like, I'm trying to focus on making things dramatic, whether or not it makes sense. Having to constantly remind myself. Now, we really are just like penciling as we go here, aren't we? I'm pretty sure there's a blue line layout, at least, of some kind, just to get an idea of what we wanted to do. But yeah, no, I'm just kind of making it up as I go. The pencils started getting real kind of sloppy around this time. I don't think they've gotten better since. The last page I worked on, definitely not. Those were some of the sloppiest pencils I think I've ever done. But another fun shot here. Just let's draw freaky looking monsters and dragging people and shit. I'm not entirely sure if the head on the left matches up with the head on the right. It doesn't seem like it should. But they both look cool. So there is that. There's that connection. And I don't even remember drawing this head at all. That's not too bad either, though. I don't know. I feel like I've gotten somewhere with these guys. When I first designed them, the officer class, it would have been in issue 2, and I was not happy with how they turned out at all. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not any kind of good at creature design. Textures I can throw on, but actual coming up with weird looking shit. Yeah, no, these are just dragon heads and shit. I vaguely remember coming up with a basic design for dragon heads when I was in my 1 year of university I went to, and it's still basically the same kind of structure, and that's just what I applied on my aliens, I guess. I mean, at least it makes sense to me. Can't always say that, and yeah, it does end up looking fairly solid a lot of the time. Yes, I mean, that's just a pretty good look. Yeah. And these Clerg pages are kind of the sum total of just not planning ahead. I think I've made them look fairly okay, but I know they could look better, and it's just not going to happen because I refuse to plan what any Clerg room looks like at all. I think, I mean, like, we're in issue 4 here out of a 6-issue or maybe even 5-issue storyline where the Clerg ship is not going to survive past issue 5 no matter what. Spoilers, sorry. But, so I'm not particularly invested in coming up with a new look for them just yet. Particularly knowing that the Clerg are kind of I don't know, like pretty far down the line, like pirate race, where they have a tendency to appropriate other civilizations' technology, particularly their ships, just because they need to be, like I assume they reproduce at a pretty high rate, which would be kind of necessary for a colonial kind of thing, or just like overpowering technology or something like that. But like we can go with high reproduction, which would mean they would need a lot of craft to carry them. They don't necessarily have the resources to build all those craft themselves, but they've got a gigantic army. They can overtake people and take over their ships, right? Which means that every time we flip to a new cell of Clerg, I can totally reset the entire theme. Like whatever the vibe is for the Clerg. Well, maybe not on this ship. Maybe these guys like velour, or I don't know. That was the word. I'm like, there's a word that's gonna come up at the end of this sentence. It's gonna be a good one, and it's velour. Oh shit, I guess not. But that is kind of an opportunity that's kind of presented itself, where I can just reset whenever I want and go, okay, the Clerg costumes aren't good enough. We need to come up with something better for this one. Definitely need better rooms. Like if I all of a sudden start to become more dedicated on backgrounds, I can just be like, okay, no, this one is more, let's say, ancient Rome. It's that kind of spaceship. One of those ancient Roman spaceships. You know the ones I'm talking about. And, if I go, hey, I don't like the way the heads look. I don't even think that matters. Like, if the heads slowly change over the course of the book, they've already changed. Like the captain in particular. We first saw him in issue 2, and his head has changed a little bit from issue to issue. Well, I mean, that's going to happen when you do 2 issues in a year. It's just not, it's not going to stay consistent the whole time. But this is the most detail I put into a Clerg room, with the idea of using it as a reference later on. I'm quite sure this was the idea was setting this, setting the scene. Going, okay, these are the backgrounds. We put all the backgrounds down so that we can establish that there were backgrounds at some point, and they're probably still moving through backgrounds. And then I forgot this panel existed, and I never referred to it again. I just finished the last page in this sequence without looking at this panel again. And I'm kind of just seeing it again for the first time and going, this would have been some useful shit. The actual panels themselves look all right. It's just kind of the rest of the Clerg panels where it's mostly blacked in and it's like little lights blinking off in the distance. And just the odd texture here and there. Just the idea that this panel does do its job, and that it goes, okay, no, just so you're aware, this is a room in which there are things. We aren't just hovering in the void. And I think I decided that with the help of the Bloodstream, the live stream guys, that these were like heat lamps, because the Clerg are cold-blooded. Makes perfect sense, right? And they got a little map that they're using there. So that is page of issue 4 of Blood Force. It's a pretty good-looking page, really, for the most part. A lot of fun monster heads, and I do like how that background turned out. I just kind of wish I'd referred to it again, because, shit, man, there's some decent stuff in there. Oh, well, maybe next issue. Next issue is another issue that I will have to draw. Fuck. I'm just realizing that. All right. So anyway, that is going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you know when the next one's coming out. Go over and subscribe on my Patreon. It gives you early access to everything I do, from the Blood Force stuff to the YouTube videos before they get uploaded to YouTube, as well as some Patreon exclusive content. You can also follow me on Instagram and DM me there for commissions, and you can join the Blood Force Discord server. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.